और थोड़ा डाल यार। एक कटिंग दे। गर्म चाय।
Hello, everyone. This is your host, Kevin Jairaj, on Cutting Chat. Today, I have got yet another senior person from Monash University and the Department of Art and Design and Architecture, Miss Deasy Sartika. She is a senior faculty recruiter. So she's the one who actually recruits the people who are going to teach you. So we're quite lucky to have her. Welcome, Deasy. Welcome to Cutting Chat with Kevin Jairaj.
Hi, Kevin. Nice to be joining you in this Cutting Chat.
So I believe we are going to be talking about the entire world of industrial design and the study of industrial design today. Can we begin with just introducing industrial design to our viewers?
I think probably I'll start with the word design itself. So whenever we talk about design, I tend to get a lot of students or parents, even our graduate students who's a bit concerned what will be the career outcome, what will they do? Because when you talk about design, anything that's been put into design, they think that it's kind of hippies. And then they keep on thinking, oh, it's full of painting, it's full of papers. And so what do they do as a career? Industrial design or design in general, actually, we all use it without realizing it. In every part that we use, that we leave, from our clothes, glasses, watches, and phone, they are the persons, there's a designer behind it, and that's industrial design. So anything that we use is from your phone, your car, okay? It can even be your chairs that you're using. That's industrial design. Basically, the concept is how to make things better for us human. It could be children, it could be people at the old age, okay? And it could be people in their early 20s or 30s. So it depends on, obviously, what kind of industry, again, that you want to go in. And for India, where you have a population of 1.6 billion, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a lot of young population as well. So this program has a big futures. And obviously, you're not just thinking industrial design as I'm designing and that's it, right? You're going to work with different, again, industry as the word. You can work with, obviously, now what India's been talking about, AI. There's an industrial design behind it as well that you work with. So it's about collaborating with different departments, even health industry. So career.com, what you're going to do as what we call industrial design, it's huge.
Absolutely sure. It's really, really big. Do you cover topics like design thinking in that? Now, whatever you've idly mentioned, do you initiate some kind of a design thinking thing in your program?
It's definitely is part of a very important unit in our programs to have a design thinking, because you can't come up with futuristic, let's say, driverless car without even knowing the basic, right? Who is it for? And then what is it going to do? Is it 3 wheels, 2 wheels, 4 wheels? So they start from there. So basic concepts to even we teach you on sketching. Let's say we do, let's say automotive. So we'll do sketching on how it looks like, material. So you might be thinking, okay, let's talk about futures. We're going to have cars that can fly. That's industrial design, but that's future thinking, right? So you also need to think about what materials that I need to use, okay? Whether it's going to get 2 people or 3 people, again, the same as whether you have a bicycle, motor bicycles, okay? Even now using solar, again. So that's talking about sustainability. That's talking about being safe to our environment. So design thinking is a very important unit that we ask students to take, because that's also when they need to be curious. They see a problem and they explore that and how they're going to solve those problems or issues, or making our life better, basically, in that design thinking unit.
That's really good. And it's a nice thing that you brought up sustainability, purely because that was going to be my next question. Besides looking into the future, and AI is already here, and it is here to kind of stay for a long time. People are apprehensive about it, but I believe we are going to, as usual, get dependent on it. We cannot really forget the sustainable the green initiatives that are so necessary, because once we start designing things which are so automated, which self-driven cars, there are going to be a lot of people around, and we could really invest their time and effort into making the earth green all over again. Is there some kind of a thought involved in the program there on those fields?
So here at Monash, obviously, we don't just do it at the industrial design. So it's across all our programs where we need to think about sustainable design, where we actually have projects. So a lot of students' project is actually around sustainability. I mean, you probably know that we do a lot of solar panel here in Australia. So then one of the things is obviously, as we talk about e-car or e-bike or even e-motorbike, is how to charge them, right? So one of our students' project, for example, we're looking at how to have charging that is actually safe to the environment, saving space as well, okay, and use the environment. So things like that. One of our, we also look at the oceans. Don't forget, 2/3 of our world is the oceans, right? And well, like it or not, we've been damaging that oceans quite badly. The coral reefs, for example, So what we do is make it using even a 3D printing. It's quite simple by the look of it, to generate and make that reef basically grow again organically, but using 3D laser printers or fake coral reef that we plant in the oceans. So we do things like that with our students. Those projects is now running in Maldives. So that's to rebuild Maldives. And of course, in Australia, Kevin, come and visit us at our Great Barrier Reef. We replant that also over there. Okay. So hopefully things like this, also things that our students in India or people in India can use that and then to save the coral. Okay. We talk about pollution just now briefly, and then clean the water. So we actually have this project where it will generate clean air, again, where the air basically going to be recycled. So we do things like that. Talking about another sustainability things that we do with our students, we throw things quite easily, right? Clothes, furnitures. So what we do is we have a project where we take students to our center in Prato. They get involved in our design house over there to see how they can recycle clothing. So this is actually a trip all the way to Italy, our Prato Center, and they spend a good 6 weeks and see how we take old clothes, turn it into new clothes, okay, or what we can do with that. We also take pieces of furniture that people throw. Our students does that, and then combine that to make it into a funky, cool, new furniture. So there's a lot of things that we do for that.
That's purely amazing. And now that we've covered a bit of the discussion on what industrial design can do and how it is going to be so important for industrial design, especially in the way forward when we are trying to modernize and digitize everything, and how we can also get into reusing, recycling, upcycling a lot of the current things. It's nice that you've thrown light on that. India is going through a major infrastructural change, and everywhere there are bridges, there are new underground tunnels being built because huge amount of population, and I think that's going to continue. The government is going strong in providing easy means of commuting from one end to the other. Buildings, you all of a sudden have skyscrapers going all the way into 50, 60, 80 floors, and it looks like a construction site. I see a lot of potential for industrial design, especially in the near future, come 10, 15 years, students going abroad, studying and coming back. How does your program support any student who wants to come there, study industrial design, but then come back here and use it in the development project? Do you have some kind of examples that you can give that you have done with other countries, especially in a university like Monash?
We do actually have what we call as a traveling studio. So, the way we teach here is very different. So we like to put ourselves as a boutique university where students actually have hands-on experience. So the way we teach is actually mimicking the real life if they work in a studio, for example. So we call it actually a studio-based teaching. Small classes, work collaboratively with other people. So imagine that as your colleagues, for example. And we take them also to what we call as traveling studio. Each year, we take them to different countries. So for example, last year we went to Korea, and then the year before that, we actually went to China. And then obviously that we had COVID. We also went to Italy. And then the plan is, I think, I'm not sure when, we even go to like Fiji, and India is actually on the card for us to visit as well. So during that trip, we're visiting an industry, so a company, basically. So students start making connections and networks with the industry partners. It could be in India, it could be anywhere else. And the way Monash, or the way we do things, is we want to make sure that students design, or being a designer in general, the key thing is actually about networking, right? And you want to make sure that whatever that you study will take you to globally. I would say now students right now is they have borderless. They can be coming from India and then they work in Australia, or they can work in Singapore, wherever. So we want to make sure that our students basically equipped with that by connecting them with different industry partners. We even have, and at the end of the year when they graduate, we hold what we call as a MADA now. So it's an exhibition where we invite industry partners. So it has a proper opening, like an exhibition's opening, where we invite partners, we invite people, governments as well. We have nice food, and that students actually exhibit their projects, what they've been doing for the last 2 years or 3 years. This is my best projects and works. That way, it's like their portfolio. It's also their resume, championing to the industry partners. So that's basically, we're slowly giving them steps on how they can apply for a job without actually just having a paper and CV. That's real life CV.
I think that's purely the need of the hour, because people, after getting grades and all of that, and they've got these skills, but they've got nothing to really show for it. And I'm glad that a university like Monash is taking those steps in the right direction to provide not only skills, to provide employable skills. And people who can really make a difference to the world with fresh ideas and practical ideas. Since we are on the topic of employment and careers, could you throw some light on the brass tacks, which is the starting salary and the potential career trajectories of your graduates? Where do they go from there? I know sky is the limit, especially with university like yours, but if you could just throw some kind of light on the benchmark.
Starting points for our, let's say, fresh graduates, they actually earn up to 60,000 plus a year, 60,000 plus a year. So you're looking at about 70,000 benchmark for industrial designer. And a lot of the time I got asked by students, all right, so where do I start? If I want to connect with the industry, or I want to know which area I should go to. I always said to the student, your lecturer, because over here with us, they're not just academic, they're not just pure academic, they're actually still practitioner. So they all still designer, they own their design house. Okay, they still have friends who obviously own design house as well. So I said, get to know them. Get them a nice chai that they remember you. Okay, and then they're like, oh, okay, do you want an internship? That's how you build your network. Yeah. Because it's about to get to know people, basically. Yeah. So, and then when they graduate from designer, it's not just a matter of working with a company or working for someone. A lot of our graduates actually open their own design house. They are capable of doing that, so it's not necessarily like, oh, I have to find a job. We have quite a number of our students who is really good. So, when I talk about this project on inventing new automotive design, a lot of them are actually doing their own startups that you can champion. You can actually get budgets from different sources as well, whether it's government. And come on, as you said just now, India is changing, bringing this idea back home, like, hey, I can help, to basically make the traffic better. How are we going to do this? Okay, whether we're going to redesign our vehicles, okay, or whether we design certain area in our roads, okay, and how we manage it. That's something that students can do as well. There's a lot of students that actually join our startups organization as well.
That's really, really good, because everyone wants to know where people are going from after doing such a lovely course. If you're kind of stuck and you do not know where you're going from there, it becomes a bit of an issue. Since we had that topic, it'll be nice to tell our viewers, what is it that you look out for in a potential student for such a program? What are the skill sets that you're looking out for, so that it's easy to apply and people just lap up?
Put aside the standard, by saying that I need your academic, I need a design skills. Actually, that's not really what we're looking for. We want students who's actually eager and have curiosity. Okay, when they see something, put it, let's say, a child looking at the grandmother wheelchair, and then see that the grandmother having issues with, operating that wheelchair, and then has a curiosity on how do I make it easier for my grandmother? Because it's not just going to be for the grandmother, isn't it? It's going to be for people with aging populations. So that's how industrial designers start. Okay. So I think what we really want is student who has curiosities, looking at something, and then they're like, I can make that better. Okay. I can make that cooler. I can make that funkier. How, whether it's functions, how it looks. That's what we're looking for from a student. So problem solving, again, that comes back to the design thinking. What's the problem and how I'm going to solve that problem?
That's really, really good, because that is an inbuilt skill that you require. We need to exercise that. That is what you're taking forward, right? Because these are the people who are going to go ahead and change the world. One last question before I realize that your time is really, really valuable. If you could just run through if you need to break up this program into the topics, if you just have to run through that, what would that be?
Topics as in like what we study? Or
What are you going to study first year, second year?
So in terms of what they'll study is, as I said, we don't actually ask for them to have a design skill. So within their first year, we actually polish their design skill to ensure that they can move into the second year and they meet what, again, the industry needs. Because students from India will have, even different schools in India will have different sets of design skills, right? So we standardize that on the first year. Within that, it's not theory, it's not lectures. It's actually, as I said earlier, very hands-on studio-based models, okay? Then we start throwing new projects, challenges that we're going to face, like we're facing right now in the world. It could be air polluting airs, okay, how that make it better. It could be also furnitures, it could be clothing, it could even be, for example, a lot of the time also in what you're using. So hair dryers, so simple projects like that. How do we make it better? Right? I'm not going to mention a brand, but one of the good brands, they keep on innovating to make it better and better. Okay, I know it's not just for women that are using it. Men start using that too, right? Okay, so but now men has a lot of funky hairstyles too. So things like that. We'll start them small little projects first on the second year. When it comes to the third years, that's when we start throwing them a bigger projects. All of that is basically hands-on studio-based model. So it might be starting with giving you an example, a hairdryer project, and then we built it to saving the coral reef project. So it's actually going through like that. Okay, and that project is actually built from your first year, second year, and third year, and each year it can be continuous. So you're making that bigger and bigger. Okay, or some students, depending on what they choose, it could be a discontinued project for their first year, and then they start something new again on their second or third year. But it's basically still a continuance from their first year to their third year. We are not focusing on exam. We are really focusing on project, hands-on, get your skills. So when you graduate, you're ready to face the world.
Love that answer. I just love that answer. So all you guys looking out for creativity, just not on paper, but in terms of life projects, wanting to change the world, this is your shot. Please. Thanks, Daisy, for for enlightening us along with industrial design. I wish I was way younger. I would have applied for such a program because the world is changing. India is changing, and we need that kind of skill set, which you guys are polishing, right? Thanks for your time, and I hope our viewers have enjoyed this session. Thanks, Monash, for conducting this for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for having us.